At 20,000 feet, the air thins out and the temperature drops well below zero. These high Himalayas are an entirely unforgiving environment, one that is defined by their sheer scale and absolute emptiness. Lord Shiva is recognized as the ultimate force of creation and destruction, yet he bypasses every traditional center of human influence to remain in this freezing, isolated void. We usually equate supreme power with visible dominance. We expect a ruler to sit in a sprawling palace, surrounded by vast armies, immense visible wealth, and the administration of a kingdom. But these heights offer none of those things. There are no voices to command here. There is no wealth to hoard, no worldly desires to fulfill, and no daily human noise to distract the mind. The environment is stripped down to its barest elements. The Himalayas act as the physical embodiment of an untouched, deeply unmoving state of pure consciousness. Somewhere within this immense, silent architecture of rock and ice, Lord Shiva sits in deep meditation. In our standard operational model, maintaining power requires the constant exertion of control. You have to push back against external forces and manipulate the people around you to maintain your position. But that method of control creates an endless cycle of noise. By constantly reacting to the next problem, you leave your mind entirely vulnerable to the very world you're trying to manage. Shiva demonstrates an opposing framework. In his model, true capability does not come from forceful manipulation. It is generated through absolute physical and mental stillness. This diagram tracks the difference between a chaotic system of scattered nodes, the exhausting effort to control external variables, and a single point where that energy is pulled inward into pure awareness. When a system stops expending its energy trying to force the external environment to comply, it finally has the total capacity to observe and comprehend it. Shiva's physical form mirrors this environmental logic. The crescent moon in his hair and the steady flow of the Ganges blend into the glacial surroundings. He does not fight the harsh elements, he aligns with them. This alignment happens through sensory withdrawal. By deliberately shutting out the noisy inputs and distractions of the lower valleys, the mind contracts into a dense, highly focused state. At this stage, the physical isolation shifts into something much sharper. The harsh cold is no longer something to endure. It acts as an active mechanism that refines internal awareness. Think of a completely calm body of water. A mind emptied of its own turbulent desires stops projecting its biases onto the world. It begins to function as a flawless mirror, reflecting reality exactly as it exists. Operating from this state of flawless reflection elevates you above the chaos. You stop being a reactive participant in the world and become a sovereign master of universal truths. You do not assert dominance by shouting louder than the surrounding noise. You achieve it by becoming a silence so profound that the noise simply dissipates into it. We trace this logic directly down into the microscopic architecture of human focus, straight into the absolute center of the mind, the third eye. When your internal mental state becomes as dense and immovable as a mountain peak, the daily anxieties that drive human behavior lose their fuel. The frantic psychological need to chase external validation shuts off. Your internal state reaches a self-contained completeness. The endless pursuit of trying to control the world is an exhausting losing battle. The effortless alternative is to pause, sit down, and simply understand it. When we snap the perspective back out to the macro scale, placing that tiny point of focus against the overwhelming vastness of the universe, we see the final result of this stillness. Mastering your own internal reactions creates a stable lens through which to view the infinite. You no longer need to command the universe to be its master. Om Namah Shivaya.